Welcome to the EXCELcast. I'm Jonathan Kuuskoski, director of the EXCEL lab here at the University of Michigan, and today I've got two special guests from the National Drama Company of the National Theatre of Ghana, Agnes Panfred. Hello, welcome.
Thank you.
Great to have you.
To be here.
And Mawuli Semevo.
Yes.
I said it right? Okay.
Yes.
Agnes is the stage manager and Mawuli is the artistic director, and they're both actors with the company. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for having us here.
It's great. So I want to talk today about the social power of the theater, because with the National Drama Company, you do more than produce and present great works of theater. You actually use the tools of theater to tackle tough social problems and even to save lives. So can you talk a little bit about your process and how you connect the tools of the theater to address social problems?
Thank you very much. Well, you've said it rightly. Theatre is a very powerful tool for social change. So what we do as part of our mandate is to use theatre to correct these issues for the better. If I'll go straight to examples, we are contacted to go into the communities by maybe a hospital. In Ghana, when you talk to people, they can listen to you, but then what you want them to do, they will not do. But we are theater people. We want to dance, we want to sing. So just put a drum down, start beating, and you get a whole community coming. Through that, you can tell them the message you want to tell them. Fine. So there's a community in the one of the regions called Broad-Ahafo region in Ghana. We have 10 different regions in Ghana. This Broad-Ahafo region lies in the middle belt of Ghana. And there was this problem of maternal mortality. The rate was so high. Doctors talked to them, they did all they could, but it was still going on. They decided to use theatre. So they contracted us to go to the community. By that, the process, you go to the community, you stay with them for like 1 week, you study them. When you go there, they see that they are strangers in town. So they ask your mission. You just have to tell them you have come to visit them. And they are so warm, they take you in. You start, eating with them, going to their farms with them, and sleeping in their places with them. By that, they volunteer information. And then through that, you also watch and see, then you also get what you want. And then they open up to you. And there was this, I said like high mortality rate. Yeah, you want to now talk to them about it. It's happening to them. Some of them are not happy with it. Not, of course, you are pregnant for 9 months, you lose your baby, you will not be happy. But there's no way out for them. And they want somebody to talk to. So you ask them, and they are happy to tell you the problems they go through without knowing or having any solution. So it's like you get pregnant and you visit the witch doctor whom they trust in. The witch doctor will tell you your family member, either your auntie, your grandmother, doesn't like you and would want to kill your baby. So when you get pregnant, you have to stay indoors. And then he or she, that's the native doctor, can prepare traditional medicine for you. I'm not trying to say traditional medicine is not good.
No.
Traditional medicine in Ghana has been certified, gone through the process, and is being used all over the world. You go to the pharmacies, you find them in the counters. But in this situation, this native doctor is sitting in his or her corner and then preparing just concoction for you, and they believe in them so much because, one, they are deprived from the larger part of the region. So then it's time for delivery. And then we have traditional birth attendants we believe in our communities. So it's time for delivery, and then there's a problem. Either you lose the mother or baby, or mother and baby. So it is at that point when they cannot handle it anymore that they want to rush to the hospital. So all this comes in the conversation. So we are like, so why won't you just go to the hospital first? And then if everything is okay, then you can deliver at home successfully. And they're like, no, they say if you go to the hospital, they are going to cut you. And they will tell you that the whole family, from their forefathers, ancestors, nobody is touched with a knife. you know,
I
it's
see.
a myth or it's taboo.
I see.
So they will not go. They don't even know that you can even deliver like that till you have maybe a problem. So we listen to them, and then we ask them, if you have the opportunity to go to the hospital, will you go? And it's not just them. You are married. The woman is married by a man, and you listen to the man. So it's what the man says that you have to do. So how do you go to the hospital? So then we go back after 1 week. We go back to our base. We put all our findings on the table. We have different interesting, you know, revelations. So then we quickly write stories. We improvise. We write stories that can be staged for 30 minutes. And then we ask the doctors, like the resource persons, because it's very technical, to come in, and they will look at what we have put down also. When they see it and everything is okay, then we start rehearsing. We give ourselves like 3 days to rehearse. So now we have a proper play drama. We go back to the communities to show them this play. Before we go for even research, we talk to opinion leaders. We don't just get up and go. We have the chiefs who control the community.
Yeah.
We have like the assembly, we have all these people. So they all know. They know we are there and know why we are there. So when it's time for the play, we tell them, and then they beat the gongo. I mean, like advertise, we have the gongo, we beat. You know, you beat this bell, gong, 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 and then it's announcement time. So everybody is attentive and they listen. It's like 6 o'clock. There is a play here, and everybody is mandated to go out to watch or listen to this play. So then when we get there, we bring our drums. We start beating the drums. Since we like dancing and, you know, singing, you know, they all come out. After the household chores, the evening meal, they come out, and then they see us. It's then that some of them recognize that, these people were with us in the community, you know, a while ago.
Yeah.
They said, okay, fine. So now we start the play. And then we start asking questions. You know, the play is going on, and it's like, I am the one who is pregnant and I don't want to go to the hospital. And then you, maybe a friend who has visited me from the city. So it's like, Aggie, why won't you go to the hospital? I said, no, I won't go to the hospital. Why? Then I give my reasons. And then you have to tell me why I have to go to the hospital.
Okay.
I said, I will not go. Then at delivery, something happens to me. So then they identify this amongst them, and then they will raise their hand. It happened to me, or it happened to my sister, or it happened to that person. So in this case, what do we do at the end of the day? So then we open forum.
So you
So
engage
it
them in
becomes-
the conversation.
Yes,
with them, I see.
we
Yeah.
engage them. So they tell us what they have gone through. We tell them how they can solve these problems. And then the technical questions that we cannot answer, the resource persons are there, like the doctors and the health workers are there to answer the questions for them. Yes. And then they agree to go. Well, maybe a month or two later, we follow up. And then we go to the hospitals to check from the doctors. And it's like, oh, it's amazing. They show us the attendant, you know, and then you see the number of women. It's like you get pregnant today, you go. Because we told them, like we tell them in the play, that when you get immediately, you get pregnant, go to the doctor, so they'll check you. If everything is fine, you'll be advised. If you need some vitamins, iron tablets, whatever, you'll be given. And then after 3 months, you go back. And then the last 3 months. So it's only 3 times in a year. It's not painful, you know. So at the end of the 3rd month, if you go and everything is fine, then you can deliver successfully at home. If it is not, you will be admitted, you'll be delivered there, and you have your baby and you have yourself and you go. So they go, and then to the extent that even they have trust in the doctors and the hospitals, in as much that they move the hospital to the communities. Yes, so they get a number of health workers, and if it is once a week, they carry their items. And then they move their van, they move to the community. And all the pregnant women, they go.
Wow.
Yes.
So that's a long, sorry to interrupt, but that's a long process of transformation, of attitude towards a belief system. And it sounds like, from the story you're telling now, that what's really critical is that you spend time at the beginning investigating and getting to know these people that you're going to work with.
Yes.
Because you mentioned coming back whenever that is, a week later, a month later, they're probably, I would imagine, I mean, how many company members, I mean, maybe it varies, but how many members will come back to do the performance? Is it a small group, a large group? It depends.
The same number that goes to
Oh, I see.
community.
Okay.
Yes, because we go in 2s, 3s, 4s. Yes, and when we come back, all of us who are on the project at that time, we all take part in the play.
I see. So that makes sense, because it sounds like what happens in those performances is that the community gets to participate. It's almost like they get to step into the story,
Exactly.
and therefore kind of remove themselves from a blame game. You know,
Exactly.
that I made the mistake or whatever. So that's
Exactly.
that's very interesting.
Yes. And I must say, we tag this kind of theater or drama, theater for development.
Theater for development.
Yes.
Okay.
And we always introduce it by saying the company tries to identify nagging social problems in communities. And we go to the communities, like she said, and then try to use theater to find solutions to these problems. And we also use theater to explain policies.
Yeah, government policies.
Policies.
Right.
Yes.
Because we are salaried workers, all right?
Yeah.
But government does not give us any support apart from salaries. We need to look for our own support to produce our plays.
And where does that other support come from for you?
Assuming you have a company and we come to see you that this is what we are doing, and again there's a reference to our background, the kind of theater we do. It is not just for entertainment. It must be relevant
Yes.
to the development of our society.
So it's part of your mission, in other words.
Yes.
The core mission
Yes.
is theater, the projects that can
Sure.
develop
Sure.
the
Yes,
communities.
to develop and then to promote.
Promote.
That's excellent.
So if we come to your company, we tell you this is what we're doing, and give us some support. Of course, we give you a budget, whichever one you can take care of, you take care, and then we convince you that okay, we're going to advertise your company in our brochures, our banners for this thing, and we'll present a report to government that your company supported us. So maybe government should also consider your tax.
And then,
You know.
and then with the support,
Yeah.
like what we do in the communities, like the Safe Motherhood
Yeah.
Project,
Yeah.
the hospital contracted us.
Mhm.
So we give them a budget, then they pay for it.
I see.
They
I
pay
see.
Yeah.
for
Okay.
everything.
Yes.
Yes.
So you have partners that are, because you mentioned the importance of having other community stakeholders, the opinion leaders, and then also having, professional workers, let's say in medicine, present. So
sure.
it
Yeah.
seems that the kind of collaborative process is critical to the
Yes.
success
Very.
of these types of
Very,
projects.
because when you want to enter a community and you don't see the chief, the assemblyman, the district whatnot, you'll be surprised. They will stifle what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Human beings like to be recognized.
Yes. Well, it's a good lesson. It's a good lesson learned for anybody pursuing a creative project, which is to understand, first have a mission, a goal, right? And I think in best cases have a social goal of some kind, but also to understand who are the stakeholders in that ecosystem you're
That's it.
entering.
Sure.
Because it can not only is it important to gain favor or support, but it's also informative. You probably get a lot of information from those people about what those attitudes
Exactly.
are and what the problems really are in that community.
And then your safety is paramount.
Paramount.
Because you are not from there. So at least the opinion leaders should know
Yeah.
that there's a stranger
Yeah,
or a
you know,
visitor
in town.
in town.
And talking about information, we do some of the dramas seasonally.
I see.
For instance, we have the rainy season, the dry hot season, and the very dry season. The very dry season is the Harmattan time, when bushfires just spread like that. We can do productions to inform the people. They know, but you just need to remind them, and then do something to show them that no, don't drop a cigarette butt in the bush. Don't try to burn your weed. If you want to burn it, you must make sure you are on the farm so that you can control your boundaries or the boundaries of your fire. When it is the rainy season time, normally it comes with the epidemics like cholera.
Yeah, because we don't dispose of our rubbish properly.
You know.
So when it rains, it washes, you know, and then
Exactly.
and then it finds its way into our waters.
This thing, and then so you inform them, and then as part of the production, when push comes to shove, the worst situation, worst case scenario, what do? We put it in the production for them to know.
Like first aid.
Like the first aid, what you do to somebody who is suffering from the cholera.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And malaria, for instance. You know?
Yeah.
Talking about partners, we don't have permanent partners. But we have, for instance, NGOs, which also solicit for support to help those in the countryside or remote areas, you know, to guard against malaria.
I see.
But when they give them the mosquito nets, they don't want to sleep in it.
Right, so that's the problem, right? So that's what I was going to ask. So the partners probably have the challenge of they can provide resources, but they can't necessarily. It's hard for them maybe to change the belief systems.
Exactly.
And so you're the link there that helps contextualize, you know, how to change the attitudes around the usage of those simple tools or those action steps, which I would imagine are pretty concrete for to help people address those problems, even preemptively, right?
And you agree with me that teenage pregnancy is something that is all over the world. Yes, we have a production on teenage pregnancy to advise the youth. And again, when it comes to a worst case scenario, it has happened. Are you going to eject the child? Or are you going to accept the child because the child is pregnant? You know? And see how you can show love to the child. And now, what is the corrective measure?
Right.
So we do all these just to develop the...
Yes, I mean about this same teenage pregnancy, you faint them again. If you write a story, like, you know, we are both in school, and I go sleeping with a guy. Now I'm pregnant, I cannot go to school. And you continue your school. You become what you want to be, a lawyer, a doctor, a pharmacist, whatever. And then I am there with my baby. Because in most cases, we don't continue when we get pregnant. We don't. Our parents don't let us continue. So a few parents would encourage you they take the baby and then you go. But here is the case, some of the parents don't even have the wherewithal.
Right.
So how would they? So in that case, so you sit home and then you see the boy who made you pregnant, you know, I mean, like, so they see things like that and they don't want to do it. So the girls will not want to do it. They want to go to school.
Yes, when they watch these dramas.
So dramas help them think differently about their pathways, the potential options in the scenario before it happens even.
Exactly.
That's amazing. I want to also ask you, I mean, you're here at Michigan because you are performing a production of 10 blocks in the Camino Reel, the Tennessee Williams play, from about 1948. And you have performed all around the world, right?
So to speak.
And you're here for a 5-city tour, is that correct? I think 5 locations you're presenting, or is it?
Yes.
St. Louis, Semevo, Provincetown, Washington, and then the one more place. 5.
Great. Can you talk? So this is obviously a different environment, a different audience than these productions that we've been speaking about. A different context. So can I just talk a little bit about why this play? How did you come to decide to produce it and to perform it? And what are sort of some of the goals of the production? And what might be different for somebody who might not have the opportunity to see it? What would be something that might be different about this production from others in the past, or unique about this production?
Thank you for this day. One, getting the place to perform, I must say, it came as a result of cross cultures. You know, when we attend theater festivals, we come into contact with other theater practitioners.
Sure.
We exchange ideas, and so did it happen that we met somebody who did psychology and theater, and then through that person, we came into contact with Mr. David Kaplan, who said, who directed the play. And, you know, in fact, when he was directing the play, little did we know that there would be the opportunity, opportunity for us to participate in this Provincetown Tennessee Williams Theatre Festival. No. As far as this production is coming up as a result of cross-culture, one, is very fulfilling for us. We learn a lot from one another as theatre practitioners. Then, lo and behold, this thing comes. He said, I'm going to see if you'll be able to participate in the Tennessee Williams Theatre Festival. Lo and behold, and it has come true. Yes. Now, with the production, if I understand you very well, I should be permitted to say what makes it unique, right?
Yeah.
You see, we have a style of theatre that we do, which is try to project authentic African theatre. This is a fusion of diction, music, dance, right? The diction stands for the drama, and everything is very Ghanaian or African. And that does not mean that we don't do straight plays, okay?
Yep.
So we'll pick, so to speak, a straight play like 10 Blocks on the Camino Real, even though there is music in it because there is a guitarist in it. And so this guitarist has been transformed into the player of our traditional drum.
I see.
Who provides music from the very opening of the play to the end. Yes. She's the stage manager of the production, apart from being the stage manager of the company.
I see, yes.
Yes. So this music runs through.
I see.
And then some of the characters sing songs that have to do with particular scenes or blocks. They are very thematic. It has to do with love. It has to do with disappointment. You know. And of course, standing here, we are speaking like Ghanaians speaking English. You are speaking like an American speaking English. So that alone too is an introduction to some cultural background.
Yeah.
Then, honestly, when you analyze the play, you interpret it, you can see that it has a universal theme. It talks about life.
Yes, and then you come to Ghana.
Yes.
When we got the scripts and we read over and over, we realized that, you know, like Kilroy is a stranger in somebody's land.
In a foreign land, right? Yes.
It happens in Ghana. The Camino Real, we have a street we call the Oxford Street. We have a place we call Jamestown. We have a place we call Nima. You go to any of these places and you see a setup where we have a gypsy. We have a gypsy.
Yes.
We have different names for them. But they are there, you know, luring people, come, do you have a problem? Come. Oh, there's something like we say, Asemwo. Asemwo, like there's something.
There's an issue.
There's an issue.
I see.
There's an issue.
Come.
You know, and then you are in trouble and some fake police somewhere. You know, you think you have seen somebody who can help you. So you go and say, oh, officer, I am in trouble. Can I say, what do you want? What do you mean? If you don't get out, you see what I'll do to you. You know, and then somebody, in a case where his Kilroy is shot, and then people come around, the gypsy and the daughter, and they are stealing his shoes and his necklace. No, so it's something that is happening, or has happened before. So relating it or turning 10 blocks into a Ghanaian setting was not difficult.
It's not difficult. That's great.
Yes.
You know.
Not to lose the theme or the didn't change any dialogue, didn't change anything, but then it's very relevant today.
Yeah, so what's interesting, you talk about the universal themes, which I imagine are very important in choosing a work that will fit your mission.
Sure.
But also, it's more than just the themes. It seems like in some ways, you could see the story occurring in Ghana, right?
Yes, yes.
Well, so which is, I think, is another interesting facet here, and a good. I think it would be better off if there were more opportunities to explore the ways in which stories can resonate across cultures.
Exactly.
So that's fascinating. And another thing is that at least here in Michigan, you're performing outdoors. You're performing in spaces not sort of what we might consider a traditional sort of theater space where people have to go in and sit down and lights go out. You're performing on the Diag, on campus of the farmers market. And so I would imagine, how does that inform the way that you present the work? I wonder if it's more similar in some ways to some of the other productions that you talked about.
Very similar. You see, when we do productions, like you're referring to traditional theater environment, it's not at our place, not everybody who is able to come to the National Theatre. So now, the theater goes to the people. You definitely not have the ideal situation or environment. Yes, so you do it to suit that environment. And like we started, the kind of theater we do theater at the marketplaces, school compounds, village squares. So it's not strange. And we even prefer these ones because it is expensive even to advertise for people to come into the theater.
Yeah, I see.
One radio clip, one TV clip or advert, it's so expensive, So these ones rather where the advert for the show, should I say, is more organic.
Yes, sure.
It's more organic.
And you reach people that might otherwise never even have known that you existed. Right, yeah.
Exactly, so it's not that strange. And it's lovely. And you can assess yourself. You wanted to add something.
Yeah, they come. You go to the communities and then they're like, oh, when are you performing next? And what are you performing? They take our contacts, then they keep asking. So then we are building our clients.
Yes.
Then they keep coming.
The database of our audience. We're building that, till finally they maybe now decide to come to the theater. So it is with even the school children.
Well, there are a lot of lessons to be learned there about building your audience by building community and building authentic relationships and trust, which is exactly the underlying kind of criteria for being successful in any of the interactive projects that you mentioned.
Exactly.
So I wish we had more time to speak. It's been a real pleasure. I'm looking forward to seeing your performance here in Michigan, and we wish you all the best for the rest of your tour.
Thanks.
And thank you so much for taking some time to speak with us today.
It's a pleasure.